Welcome to the Peak Performance and Peak Satisfaction podcast with Master Executive Coach Sherry Gregoff. Sherry helps business people perform better, get rewarded handsomely, and actually enjoy their work. After having her own career turnaround, she now helps other high-powered business professionals experience the same. Join the movement to work differently.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. In the United States, it's vacation season. People are taking days off from the office, whether traveling or staycation. It's an opportune time to reflect on life outside of work and how fulfilling it is alongside your career. If it's difficult to unplug or engage fully in your personal life, this episode is for you. Hobbies that light you up, rest that recharges you, and relationships that bring meaning await. Before we jump in, I want to shout out one of my clients who had a win in this area. Here's what he shared with me. I was able to truly be present for time with my wife, time together as a family, and time with our extended family, exploring new places and fun activities together. I know I will look back on this time, grateful that I dedicated it to what matters most. This client negotiated an exit from his company and tempered his job search for a few select weeks of travel with loved ones. A mini sabbatical that he decided was in order, allowed for focus on his health and relationships. He turned to hobbies, mindfulness and spirituality practices, workouts and stretching, coaching his children in sports, and more dinners with his wife. In a high-powered career inside an industry that can be full of time-sensitive deals and going all in to bring them to fruition, this felt particularly special. We used this time to develop habits that he could keep even when he turned back to full-time work. Mornings of self-care before the kids took center stage. Hobbies he could enjoy with his child and with business colleagues. Rekindled friendships that he could maintain with periodic dinners out. When in the thick of work, we sometimes try to squeeze life in around it. It's these special opportunities to recenter ourselves on life and then introduce work back into the equation that can allow for a more well-rounded experience. I see wins like this across my clients, and I've experienced them in my own career as well. That's why I'm excited to talk about today's topic. Let's jump in and get you on your way to experiencing this also. This week, we will take a closer look at your life beyond work. You don't need a sabbatical or special permission to do this. The final weeks of summer are as dedicated a time as any to take stock and make adjustments as you see fit. Especially because I find many companies set an expectation that by the start of September, employees are back from vacation, refreshed, and ready to dedicate their all to the business. This can be daunting, for parents in particular, as they are helping children return to school and are being bombarded with requests and special events on that front. This can be a microcosm for the year, wanting to show up your best at a crucial time for your kids and partner, while work applies the pressure that this is crunch time to deliver on before year end. If we're honest, there's always a reason or context for being heavily in demand on all fronts. So, instead of just keeping all the balls in the air, let's take a look at how to do this masterfully, how to not shortchange any area of your work and life, but to truly have it all. We know that when we are sitting on a porch somewhere in a rocker nearing the end of our life, you will never wish that you dedicated more of your full focus to that specific project at work beyond working hours. But you are more apt to wish that you spent more time living fully. I call this the rocker test. Touching base with that future version of you for a gut check on what's important right now. I fully understand that when you are drowning in deadlines for the business, this can feel far away. This month in corporate for me used to mean making decisions on promotion candidates, preparing business reviews, kicking off committees to take forward ideas from our annual offsite, completing mid-year reviews, advancing performance improvement plans, a final push on hiring before we hit the brakes going into year-end, talent reviews assessing performance and potential, wrapping up on compliance and training deadlines set for end of summer. It's a lot. But here you are, listening to this podcast. It's the perfect time to invest in yourself away from the business, so the rest of this year is spent more closely aligned to what is important to you everywhere, not just at the office. If it's been a while since you did this, or maybe this is your first time ever, you are in the right place. I'll walk you through several dimensions that are most common for leaders to note are part of their full and well-rounded lives. If any specific dimension is less relevant for you, no problem. That is good awareness to have. And it gives you an area that you know you want to deprioritize in favor of others. If any make you stop and think that this is very important to you, but has been truly neglected as of late, also, no problem. That's the point of the exercise. We are taking an honest look so that you know what you want to adjust in your work and life next to make it even better. You ready? We will cover 16 dimensions across 4 categories in today's episode and in next week's episode. Physical, mental, connection, and world. These are our 4 categories. It's a great big life you lead, and sometimes we lose sight of the different capacities we have to truly live fully. You know me by now. I love lists. It can make what's so big more digestible and practical. So if you're taking notes, get ready for these 16, and you can note alongside each one how important it is to you, how happy you are with that dimension currently, and what, if anything, you would like to change in that space next. Following this episode, download my leadership playbook that includes my Pulse survey. We do this for our teams and inside our companies quarterly even, but never take the time to do it for ourselves. It's a 1-page exercise to guide you in taking stock, like we are in detail inside this episode. I'll link it up in the show notes as a resource. Let's start with physical, since these dimensions will feel familiar and are pretty easily observable. As we consider each of these, a word of caution. Sometimes we use our youth, let's say when you were 20 years old, as the benchmark or standard for your physical health now. I'm amazed at the number of people who tell me precisely what they weighed at that age, or how much weight they could lift at that age, or the size clothes they wore. And in comes a flood of self-judgment from their inner critic about where they are now. We don't need that extra baggage as we begin today. For you, in this season of life, what would make you proud of how you are caring for this one physical body that you have to carry you through this life? Let's take a closer look. The first dimension is sleep. Research has shown that sleeping less than 7 hours a night can have your cognitive abilities impacted at a level similar to being under the influence of alcohol. We may know this, but it can still be a challenge. You may struggle with getting to bed on time, or falling asleep, or staying asleep. As you consider what you want to change on this front, here are some things to keep in mind for your approach. Calculate the earliest time you need to be awake to have an unrushed morning in the course of a week. Make that your wake-up time daily going forward. Our bodies like routine, and our circadian rhythms are set by consistent sleep and wake times. Set your bedtime at least 7 hours earlier than that earliest wake time. Set your wind-down time 45 minutes earlier than your bedtime. No watching The Walking Dead or true crime shows up until your bedtime anymore. Screens down 45 minutes ahead of your bedtime, and ideally, those screens live outside your bedroom. Your bedroom should be cool, dark, and absent of the stressors. Laptops, bins of unfolded laundry, and paperwork included. Use mindful breathing exercises, white noise, or sleep stories on your favorite app to condition yourself to fall asleep when it's that time. For wakefulness during the night, remember, perfection isn't the aim. It's more common to wake during the night than not, so tame any angst around this by counting all time in bed without screens as rest. Gently notice that you are awake, celebrate that you're still resting, and steer your focus to something positive and boring until you fade into sleep once again. Score yourself here out of 10 on sleep and set one tip you want to implement from this now, if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Next within physical is hydration. Your body is mostly made up of water and likely needs far more than you are giving it. Dehydration leads to headaches and lethargy, impacting your ability to concentrate and often leading to overeating as you mistake thirst for hunger. Calculate how many ounces of water you should be drinking based on the latest guidance and your weight. And then, most importantly, track how much water you actually consume. Remember that many other drinks you may love are diuretics and work against your hydration, so they will need to be offset. Choose a container that you like to drink from, temperature, and hydrate your body regularly. Now, score yourself out of 10 on hydration and set one tip you want to implement from this now, if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Next in physical is nutrition. Food can become something we use to comfort, to celebrate, and to connect, but at its core, it's fuel for that precious body. So first and foremost, make sure you are giving your body what it needs to perform well. There was recently research done that as people age, they tend to eat less and become weaker as a result. In generations past, sometimes the aim of nutrition was to be skinny. But now, and in later seasons of life, that just means frail. The more common aim is to be strong and able. For that, we need well-rounded nutrition, including beyond the 3 macronutrients. Use the tools and technology available to you to calculate how to ensure the food that you eat is getting you the energy you need without sabotaging your health. Use blood work to gauge where your body is now and any deficiencies or concerns. Nutrition is a great place to start to proactively address any gaps. And when you find yourself eating your emotions, remember that the design of food was for fueling our bodies, not addressing our feelings. More on that later. Okay, now score yourself out of 10 on nutrition and set one tip you want to implement from this now, if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Lastly, in physical is movement. The old saying goes, move it or lose it. The goal with regular movement is to move our bodies so that we keep having the mobility and strength to meet basic living needs, like taking care of your household, but also taking care of your loved ones, both young and old, and being able to do the things you want, like travel and exploring new places. There's 3 parts to movement to consider: moving for strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular health or endurance. If any of the 3 are overlooked, it can lead to issues. So for strength of your muscles, even as your body naturally loses muscle while you age, weightlifting is the answer. You can start with body weight exercise, but for more bang for your buck, add some additional weight. Compound movements offer the best return and can't be overlooked, even as you turn to isolated movements on smaller muscle groups. We are aiming for good posture here too, and muscle strength can help you maintain it. For flexibility, stretching and activities like Pilates or yoga is beneficial. Our muscles contract over time. We do activities to strengthen them by tightening them, but then also must work to lengthen them and keep our bodies pliable. If you've encountered a limited range of motion in any part of your body, you know this is a practice to maintain that range of motion. Lastly, cardiovascular health. This can be measured in most smartwatches and in the vitals and blood work taken by your doctor. We are working your heart here and your ability to sustain activity. Simple walking can get this done with minimal impact to your joints. Introduce incline and stay at a rapid pace, and even that's enough. These three aspects to movement contribute to your physical fitness and ability to continue to do basic functions as you age. Last score on physical here. Score yourself out of 10 on movement and set one tip you want to implement from this now if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Let's take a beat here. Inside this podcast about peak performance and peak satisfaction in your business career, we just covered physical fitness. It 100% improves your performance and satisfaction at work. You are the asset to your business and career. Without maintenance, you will be running on empty, and it will impact your professional results. I've had multiple clients lose over 20 pounds while excelling at a new level in their work. Don't believe that your health and career are at odds. They are intertwined. Choose your health for better work. Okay, our next category is mental. We've covered the physical aspect of our wellness and ability, so now it's on to the mental side of it in our brain. Let's start with spirituality. If you consider yourself spiritual and believe in a higher power, whether you call it the universe or God, this may be the foundation for everything else you do. Whether it's a certain religion or a deep knowing, this is part of living a full life. Some would say the first step and top priority in living a worthy life. In this dimension, we sometimes believe one thing, but it doesn't necessarily get reflected in our day-to-day life. Here you might consider a daily practice of acknowledging this greater power, gratitude for the blessings in your life, reflection on mistakes you have made or where you could have done better, and ask for forgiveness, and an ask for wisdom to make the positive impact in this world that you were meant to have. If your personal spiritual practice does not already offer aspects to lean into daily, prayer, scripture, worship, and more, then here are some ideas to consider. This Hawaiian practice of reconciliation, forgiveness, and restoring harmony, it's called Ho'oponopono, and it centers on 4 phrases. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. People often repeat the 4 phrases as a prayer or meditation, sometimes while thinking about a person, a situation, or even themselves. There's also the tradition of loving kindness in meditation, also called metta meditation. It's a Buddhist meditation practice focused on deliberately cultivating goodwill, compassion, and kindness towards yourself and others. A common progression is to direct loving wishes towards yourself, someone you love, a neutral person, someone you have difficulty with, and finally, all living beings. You silently repeat phrases such as, may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I be peaceful, may I live with ease. Then you shift them to, may you, and eventually, may all beings. My spiritual life is the most important dimension for me. It's what allows everything else to thrive in my life. It's not just a daily practice, it's a relationship I nurture with my Creator. If you have tremendous success, but it feels empty, this dimension is the missing piece of the puzzle. I've had many clients ask about spiritual formation, and I guide them here as well. Now, score yourself out of 10 on spirituality and set one tip you want to implement from this now, if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Next in mental is emotional wellness. It's fascinating how in our culture, it's common to hire the personal trainer at the gym and the nutritionist for your diet and not even consider support when it comes to your emotional wellness. Part of my training is purely in life coaching, grounded in neuroscience. When I hired my own coach is when my emotional wellness skyrocketed. There was a whole suite of tools that I had never known that helped me weather the storms of life then, and the daily stressors, all in a new way. If my spirituality is the foundation for my success in every area of work and life, this is a second priority for me. It's what's allowed me to show up as the mom, wife, and daughter that I wanted to be. It's what helped me realign my time and energy around my own priorities without apology and put an end to the internal conflict that had been weighing me down. I stopped people-pleasing and playing it small and started being more authentic and bold. The result is more freedom in my day-to-day and more agency over my experience of my career and everything else. If this front is new to you, you might consider reading my book, available in the show notes. A small step forward here could be journaling your thoughts to get them out of your head and onto paper where you can see them more clearly. To get them out of your head and onto paper where you can see them more clearly. And finally, a simple and basic mindfulness practice to build your brain's muscle to draw focus to one thing, your breath, nature around you, or a guided meditation can work wonders in introducing more peace and calm in your day. There are a multitude of apps that can help you on this, even those built for self-proclaimed meditation skeptics. Now, score yourself out of 10 on emotional wellness and set one tip you want to implement from this now, if this is indeed an area important to you that you want to improve. Intellectual challenge is next. During this vacation season, you may be tempted to think it would be so lovely to luxuriate on a beach for the rest of time. The truth is, we are wired for intellectual challenge. Otherwise, we get bored. We like to learn and grow. We like to engage intellectually. That being said, it's easy for this to slip away while we're busy working the job or caring for our family. So here, lean into ways to learn. Maybe it's reading a book a month. I actually curate a book list and an asynchronous book club online with monthly selections and no live discussions to worry about fitting into your schedule. I'll add that in the show notes if you'd like to join us. Or maybe there's an online class that would be interesting to take or audit, whether in your professional field or any other area. There's research out now about how learning different skills can keep your brain sharp. Consider what activities might be exercise for your brain that you would enjoy spending a few minutes on each day. Now, score yourself out of 10 on intellectual challenge and set one tip you want to implement from this now if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Lastly, in mental, are hobbies, for the pure joy of it. Remember that sport or art that you loved as a kid? Maybe it's time for a reprise. Explore classes or workshops near you or online. Pickup games or playing with your kids, colleagues, or community members can be a great way to blow off steam. There's an aim for both this hobbies dimension and for the intellectual challenge one too, to find your flow state. This is when you are challenged by an activity, but also feel capable of meeting that challenge such that the concept of time and space slips away while you are doing it. You're not worried about your to-do list or others' opinions. You're just wrapped up in the joy of that activity. I have a client who is a pastry chef for fun alongside her business career. She also loves Pilates. In both areas, she is completely consumed in the activity and can relax about everything else while she has 100% focus on that hobby. Spark one for yourself if it's been a while. And now, go ahead and score yourself out of 10 on hobbies and set one tip you want to implement from this now if this is indeed an area important to you that you'd like to see improve. Today we covered physical and mental, and next week we will turn to connection and the world. Beyond now and then, you have your next steps. Look back at these 8 dimensions and notice which stood out to you as most in need of an upgrade. For those areas that you'd like to emphasize more going forward, what was that one small step that you can experiment with this week for progress in that space? Download my leadership playbook now to take your own pulse survey. Like the engagement survey you might administer at the office. I just helped a client decipher the results from his team collected in his own engagement survey. When done right, it can show you what's working well, that's worthy of celebration, and what you'd like to improve upon next. If your business is worthy of it, surely your work and life are too. Do this for yourself and enjoy the insights that come from it. With every small action taken, you will find more well-rounded success, including that full life beyond work. Your satisfaction on all fronts will improve, and you will perform better in your work and in every other important role that you play. If you'd like help doing this, schedule your consultation, and let's do it together. Until next time.
Looking for support in applying the principles and strategies in today's episode? Sherry coaches clients one-on-one as their trusted confidant and advisor, helping each client create the work and life they had only dreamed of. To schedule your complimentary career strategy session, go to sherrygregoff.com/apply to book time with her today. It's one simple step that can change everything.